Bangladeshi construction worker Babu Sheikh has never seen his son's face. Sheikh was among thousands who flocked to Qatar in recent years to help build the country's shiny new stadiums as it spent billions on infrastructure ahead of the Football World Cup. But at a site near the capital Doha, Sheikh fell 4 meters and fractured his skull. And after 4 months in a coma, he woke up unable to see. He says Qatari authorities prosecuted his employer, but the case was dismissed. He also says to this day, he's received no compensation.
চিকিৎসা করলে যদি হয়তো ভালো হয় আমার তো আশা তো এখনো ছাড়িনি যেন আশা হলো আমি চিকিৎসা করুম ভালো হম পরে আমার ছেলেটার আমি দেখব দুনিয়াটা আমার ছেলের এখনো আমি দেখিনি ওই কালা হইছে না সুন্দর হইছে না কেমন হইছে আমি এখনো দেখিনি আমার অনেক আশা আর দেখব
Migrant workers make up a whopping 80% of Qatar's population of 2.8 million. And while there are more migrant workers than there are Qataris, the Gulf state has repeatedly faced harsh criticism over unpaid wages, injuries, and even deaths. Most of Qatar's migrant workers are from Africa, as well as Asia, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and the Philippines. Filipino Giovanni Carrillo lived in Qatar for 6 years. He says his employer stopped paying him in 2018. He resorted to desperate but common measures to survive.
Yung kasama namin may nakulong na sa kanyan. Nagkwento doon sa masarap yung mga pagkain. Yung kulog mo doon ayos. Kaya sinubukan namin, nagpauli kami. Pagpauli namin, dinampot kami, 3 kami. Doon kami pag kinabukasan, balik kami ng akomodasyon, busog kami at saka yung pagkahapon naman, ibang grupo naman yung nagpahuli.
Bangladeshi Abu Yusuf considers himself one of the lucky ones. Many workers say job prospects and pay are far better in Qatar than in their own countries. Yusuf worked as a welder, among other things, at the Al Bayt Stadium. He says he was more than happy with his $700 a month paycheck. Minimum wage in Qatar is $275 a month.
না সেটা তো অবশ্যই দাদা একটা FIFA World Cup আমরা বানাইছি স্টেডিয়ামে খেলা হবে কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে থাকতে পারলে ভালো হতো আর কি খেলাটা দেখতে
A 2021 report by Amnesty International said unpaid wages and charging workers to change jobs in Qatar were still common despite labor reforms in 2014, raising minimum wages and ending exit permits. While international unions say there's been drastic improvement over the years, others say more still needs to be done.
Tragic accidents continues to run into the hundreds, and enforcement of new rules isn't sufficiently effective.
And in the final run-up to the World Cup, others are speaking out against Qatar's human rights record, including from fans.
The way the laws are in Qatar, the restrictions on women's rights and the restrictions on alcohol.
To some of the teams themselves.
We are not experts, but we have listened to groups such as Amnesty, FIFA, the Supreme Committee, the International Labour Organization, FIFPro, and most importantly, the migrant workers of Qatar.
Whilst the reforms established in Qatar are an important and welcome step, their implementation remains inconsistent and requires improvement.
In October, Qatar's emir hit back at the criticisms, calling it an unprecedented campaign.
تعرضت قطر إلى حملة غير مسبوقة لم يتعرض لها أي بلد مضيف. وقد تعاملنا مع الأمر بداية بحسن نية، بل واعتبرنا أن بعض النقد إيجابيا ومفيد يساعدنا على تطوير جوانب لدينا تحتاج إلى تطوير. ولكن ما لبث أن تبين لنا أن الحملة تتواصل وتتسع وتتضمن افتراءات وازدواجية معايير حتى بلغت من الضراوة مبلغا جعل العديد يتساءل للأسف عن الأسباب والدوافع الحقيقية من وراء هذه الحملة.
As the World Cup teams touch down in Doha, fanfare is building to a fever pitch on the streets. Amnesty and other rights groups have led calls for FIFA to compensate migrant workers for human rights abuses. The football associations of 10 European nations have also pushed FIFA to take action to improve the rights of migrant workers in Qatar. FIFA has written to the teams, urging them to just focus on the game.